any detachment or any police service that you have available to get to talk to. And Jack just absolutely loves bugs, dinosaurs, anything like that. But Lily...
A forgotten letter, hidden away for months, its chilling message sealed a mother's darkest fears. If you're reading this, it's already too late. But too late for what? The answers lie buried deep, and every second we wait could be the difference between life and death. It wasn't seized in a police raid. There was no dramatic scene where officers burst through doors or a witness bravely stepping forward with evidence. Instead, the letter was discovered purely by chance, hidden deep inside a forgotten plastic bin. This bin had been tucked away in a dim corner of Malaya's old closet, buried beneath months, maybe even years, of untouched children's clothes, all neatly folded but long ignored. The bin itself was plain, unremarkable, coated in dust, as if deliberately forgotten. Inside it lay a plain, weathered envelope. It bore no official stamps, no addresses, no marks, only 6 chilling words handwritten clearly across the front: not to be opened unless something happens. When the envelope was finally opened, the handwriting inside immediately caught the investigators' attention. The letters were frantic, shaky, as though written in a state of deep fear and desperation. It was clear that this was no ordinary note. It was a mother's raw, unfiltered fear etched in ink. Malaya's words did not dwell on warm memories or maternal love, as one might expect. Instead, the letter detailed a dark and urgent plan, a plan to take her children away, to protect them by keeping them hidden from Daniel at any cost. The tone was urgent, secretive, and filled with dread. But it was the final sentence that made everyone freeze, sending chills down their spines and halting the investigation in its tracks. If you're reading this, it's already too late. Those words hung heavy in the room, a grim warning that whatever Malaya feared had already come to pass. For days, the Child Protective Services, CPS, held the letter tightly under wraps, refusing to share it with anyone outside their immediate team. The weight of its contents was too heavy, the implications too grave. When they finally stepped forward to address the public, there was no attempt to soften the blow or offer consolation. Instead, the spokesperson delivered a stark, unflinching warning. "This is a deeply troubling document," the spokesperson began, their voice steady but heavy with concern. The letter detailed a carefully premeditated plan to remove Lily and Jack from their own home, born out of fears that someone dangerously close to the children posed a threat. It revealed a mother's growing dread, a sense that harm was not only possible but imminent. This was not a routine missing persons update or a simple notification of concern, it was a chilling confirmation that there had been a critical window of opportunity to intervene, to prevent the tragedy before it unfolded. And that chance had been tragically lost. This letter wasn't the first warning sign. Child Protective Services had been inside that home before, more than once. Over time, a troubling pattern emerged from the reports of neighbors who heard screams in the night, from teachers who noticed sudden changes in behavior, and from doctors who saw unexplained injuries. Each report hinted at possible abuse or neglect, yet these serious concerns were often quietly minimized or dismissed. A bruise shaped unmistakably like fingers was labeled as rough play. The once bright and lively little girl, Lily, gradually became withdrawn and silent, but those changes were overlooked or attributed to typical childhood moodiness. Every missed follow-up appointment, every reassessment that lowered the perceived risk level, was another chance to intervene and protect the children, a chance that slipped through the cracks, unnoticed and unacted upon. The words in the letter weren't random or vague, they were deliberate and loaded with urgent meaning. They don't know what he's capable of. Who exactly was Malaya warning with these chilling words? Was it Child Protective Services, the police, or perhaps everyone involved in the investigation? The message was clear: there was a danger no one fully understood or acknowledged. "I've seen the change in his eyes." This line revealed a profound transformation. Daniel, once someone she trusted, had become a figure of fear, someone whose intentions were dark and threatening. And then, the final, haunting sentence: "If you're reading this, it's already too late." But too late for what? Was it too late to protect Lily and Jack? Too late to prevent the unthinkable? Or too late for Malaya herself to find a way out? When CPS officially confirmed the handwriting was Malaya's, the weight of the letter intensified, and with it, a flood of desperate questions arose. Questions that demanded answers but offered none, deepening the mystery surrounding the fate of the children and their mother's desperate warning. The grandmother could barely find the words to express her anguish and confusion. Her voice trembled as she asked the heartbreaking question, if she knew, why didn't she tell? The silence that followed was heavy with pain and unanswered doubts. Among the community, opinions sharply divided. Some saw Malaya as a mother trapped by fear and desperation, a woman trying to protect her children in whatever way she could, even if it meant keeping secrets. Others viewed the letter as a grim confession, an admission that she had anticipated a tragedy but chose not to, or could not, stop it. As frustration boiled over, it wasn't directed at the children, innocent victims of circumstances beyond their control, nor even at Malaya, whose situation was complex and tragic. Instead, the anger and sorrow were aimed at the system and those responsible for protecting the family, for they had been searching blindly, unaware that this crucial letter had been hidden all along, buried under months of silence and neglect. Meanwhile, online forums and social media became a battleground of opinions, dividing the town in two, some demanding accountability and answers, others seeking to understand the pain behind the warnings, each grappling with the tragic reality that had unfolded before them. Then, unexpectedly, the tides shifted in a way no one anticipated. Child Protective Services, an institution often criticized but rarely seen publicly admitting mistakes, stood before the community with an unflinching confession: they had failed. For years, warning signs had been there, quietly noted but never fully acted upon. Now, in a moment heavy with regret, CPS acknowledged their shortcomings openly and without excuse. "We failed to connect the dots," their spokesperson said solemnly, eyes reflecting the weight of responsibility. "We will not make that mistake again." This rare public admission sent shockwaves through the town, cutting through the usual defensiveness surrounding the agency. It was a turning point, no longer just about what was lost, but about accountability and the urgent need to do better. The community, already raw with grief and anger, was now galvanized. The failure was not just theirs but belonged to everyone who had turned a blind eye, who had let bureaucracy cloud compassion. This moment of honesty sparked a renewed sense of urgency, a call to action that extended beyond the words spoken. The grandmother's live stream spread faster than any official statement ever could. It wasn't scripted, rehearsed, or filtered, it was raw, urgent, and real. On screen, her voice trembled but carried a fierce determination that resonated with viewers around the world. "I don't care about the odds," she said, eyes blazing with a mix of pain and defiance. "We are not done. Not until Lily and Jack are found." Her words cut through the fog of despair like a beacon, awakening hope in a community that had been silently suffering for far too long. As the stream went viral, the response was overwhelming. Messages flooded in from every corner, people who had never met the family but felt deeply connected to the tragedy. Volunteers offered resources. Drones equipped with thermal imaging to scan the thick backcountry, search and rescue dogs trained to pick up even the faintest scent, and a tireless willingness to comb through every possible lead, every inch of forest and every shadowed trail. Time itself seemed to slow, as more and more hands reached out to help, united by a shared purpose: to bring these children home. If this letter, hidden away for so long, was truly their last desperate cry for help, then the world now had a duty, a sacred responsibility, to answer. To listen. To act. To fight for those who could no longer fight for themselves. There was a growing awareness, a sense that every small piece of information mattered. If you knew something, anything at all, now was the moment to speak up. Not tomorrow. Not when it might be too late. Now. Because what one person might dismiss as trivial, what another might think irrelevant or unimportant, could be the key to unlocking the mystery. The clue that turns the tide. The thread that unravels the entire tangled web. This was no longer just a case file or a headline. It was a collective call to conscience. A reminder that in situations like these, silence could be deadly, and inaction could cost lives. The smallest detail, an odd conversation overheard, a strange behavior witnessed, a forgotten glimpse of a car on a lonely road, anything could be the difference between despair and salvation. The grandmother's voice echoed in countless hearts, inspiring a movement not just of search parties, but of empathy and vigilance. The community was no longer willing to wait passively. They were ready to rally, to challenge the shadows, and to make sure that Lily and Jack's story did not end in silence or sorrow. As the days stretched on, the urgency only grew. The chilling words from that letter, "If you're reading this, it's already too late," hung heavy in the air, a stark reminder that time was slipping away. But the collective hope remained unbroken. Every new volunteer, every tip called in, every shared post on social media became a lifeline, a way to fight back against the darkness. Because when it comes to protecting the most vulnerable, when it comes to answering a child's silent plea for help, there is no room for doubt or delay. The world must listen, must act, and must never forget that what seems like nothing to one person can mean everything to another.